And hello YouTube, this is GSmaniamsmart and I'm today in a brand new video for Gaming with GS, and today we're here on Hearthstone and I'm here to show you some cool matches that I did today. I recorded some matches on Hearthstone here with my cheap Dust Tempo Mage deck. If you have not seen the updated version of the cheap Dust Tempo Mage deck, I definitely recommend you to check it out because we do go over the deck. We do explain how to use the deck, what changes we've made, and if you want to see the original cheap Dust Tempo Mage deck where you'll sort of understand how to play the deck on a more basic level, then you go and check that video out as well. Both videos are in the description. There are links in the description, and you should see some cards and annotations on screen right now as well. So just quickly, for those of you who have already seen those videos or don't feel like watching them, let me just show you the deck real quick before we head into these three matches. Now, I did make another video on like my cheap Dust Tempo Mage deck on how to, like, you don't need to win with legendaries, how you can win without legendaries, and we sort of showed you how to win against a priest, a druid, and a shaman. And this time around we're going to be playing against rogues, and I believe it was a paladin, so I tried not to get the same opponents, but here's the deck we're using. Just a quick preview before we head into the three matches that I have for you. So this is a deck. Alright, let's go ahead and head into the three matches so you can see how we're wrecking some scrubs without any legendaries required. The last match in particularly is it's just funny to me because, oh god, the 2 or 3 legendaries that are thrown out and we just still destroy. So hopefully you enjoy. We got some commentary also along with the matches. Alright, so for our first match, we're here up against a paladin, and our starting hand is fairly good. Only problem is we have that water elemental there, which is kind of a terrible start, mainly because it's not very useful in the early game, mainly used to tank damage in the mid to late game. So we're going to go ahead and switch that out, and actually we're going to get a mana worm from that, which is great because that's a great way to start the match with mana worm, and then following up with a mirror image will actually protect our mana worm. So the old trick of bringing out the coin and then bringing the mana worm and the mirror image is great here. We'll boost our mana worm and we'll protect it at the exact same time, which is always a good start if you can get that sort of start. So he probably wants to bring out a taunt here, which is exactly what he's going to do in just a second, because that's what's going to protect him. And here comes the taunt card. There it is. Now it's a 0/4, so we can use the Abusive Sergeant on our mana worm to clear it. However, he does give it 3 attacks, so what you can do is you can still clear it with your mana worm, but you're going to waste your mana worm, and we don't want to do that. So what you can also do is give the Abusive Sergeant to one of your taunt minions, but then again, you're basically going to be killing one of your taunt minions. So what I'm actually going to do here is use my hero power on the taunt, and then next round we're going to use our charge minion, I think Wolf Rider it is, and we're going to clear it. That way we're not wasting one of our taunts, because they're there to protect the mana worm. They're there to basically waste a turn of attack for the opponent. So here he summons a minion, and he's actually going to hit with his taunt to clear one of my taunts. But now, because we've used our hero power last turn, we can actually bring out our charge minion and immediately clear it, and then we can go straight on the offense attack, just like that. Now, you could have cleared his minion, and with paladins, it's actually a good idea to clear the minions because they can boost them. However, I just wanted to go really offensive here, and I figured I can clear with my hero power very easily anyway. So here we're going to get the Abusive Sergeant, and here's where we can boost our mana worm even more, and we're going to start clearing some of the minions and then just go heavy offensive and just bring out as many things as possible since he doesn't have board control. One thing paladins need is board control because they need to boost their minions, and if they don't have board control, then it's going to be pretty hard for them to win. And the fact that we've already brought him down pretty low to health right now is even better. Here he clears our last taunt, and we have a mirror entity, which is great because we're able to actually add more to our board if he brings something out. Now, one thing annoying here is that minion with the Divine Shield, but easily can take that off with our hero power, and then we'll just sacrifice the other 2 minions to clear that and continue to do heavy damage with the mana worm, which has been boosted already. So we still have a secret in our hand here. So depending on what he brings out here, we're actually going to get a benefit from that, which is why it's so great to have that mirror entity in our deck now. You know, before, if we didn't have mirror entity, we'd be stuck basically here. But now that we have this in our deck, it makes it a bit easier. And he's going to try to attack our mana worm, but he doesn't realize that, hey, I just got your taunt minion that you brought out. So this is actually really good that that just happened, because he needed a taunt, and well, we needed a taunt too, so we got it. Here he sacrifices one of his minions, and we can actually still have the taunt on the board. Clear the Divine Shield always with your hero power. It's the safest thing to do. And I think I'm going to do it right here. And I think we're actually going to clear the taunt with our own taunt. The beauty with the mirror entity is that, I mean, yes, you can use it as offensive to do more damage, but you can also use it to clear any minion. You're basically getting a free minion that you don't have in your deck. It's like getting a free extra card. You have 31 cards instead of 30. So right now, he only has a 2/2 on the board. It doesn't serve that big of a threat here. However, I want to keep my mana worm alive, so I'm actually going to keep on boosting it and try to freeze it so I can keep it alive as long as possible. The Paladin does have a AoE clear on the board, but is he really going to use it just to clear one mana worm? Probably not. So I want to keep the mana worm as healthy as possible, and here he's forced to use a 4 mana card just to clear the mana worm, which is really good because mana worm only costs 1 mana, and he basically used a 4 mana card to clear a 1 mana card. So even though we lost the mana worm there, it still plays in our favor because he's used a pretty powerful card. And here we can just bring out the massive tempo mage spell deck style play here, where we just bring out the sorcerer and the mana worm. Having both of those come out simultaneously is really good because you can just spam spells then, and while you're using less mana, you're also boosting the mana worm together. So that's what we've done here. And once again, he's gonna have to heal here. He's forced to heal here, and he's forced to try to clear the board because he's in danger right now. So he does do that by using 2 of his minions to clear 1 of my minions, still in our favor here. And here is where our card drawing comes into play here. This is what's so good about the next card we're gonna play here, because we're low on cards here, but we're gonna get 3 cards back into our hand here. And here we're just gonna keep on clearing the board. We don't want to give him the chance to buff any of his minions. So there you go. We get free 3 cards, and here's where we actually have the ability to bring up another secret with our mad scientist if we want to. I don't think we even need to though, because we have a fireball in our hand. You want to keep the fireball to the end always do that massive damage and try to go for the kill. So unless he has another heal right now, then he's pretty much dead. So I think here he brings out another heal. Here's another heal, but very high card, 7 mana just to heal himself, and he's not able to bring much else out, which is the sucky part for him. That, you know, he has to use so much mana to heal himself, and he really can't clear anything. He does clear our sorcerer, which is unfortunate because we do have 2 spells in our hand. But now getting a mana worm now would be pretty good, but obviously we don't have any more. So we're just gonna go ahead and bring out the mad scientist in case he does, we can kill one of his minions to clear, and we'll get a secret in our hand. And now that we have board control, he's gonna be forced to clear the board again because we have basically 3 attack cards in the board. So he's gonna have to kill the 2 taunts. He's gonna have to be very offensive right now to get the board cleared. A good spell to have right now for him would be that AoE removal that does 2 damage to the entire board. However, I can't remember exactly. There it is. That's the card he wants to use right now. That is the card that actually saves him. And it's good, but the bad thing is that we have Mirror Entity as a secret, and we're able to get one of his minions if he brings it out. So here, actually, a big mistake from him. I would have cleared our minion on the board right now because that's going to be able to actually give us more cards and draw more cards for us. Here he made a mistake. I don't know why he bothered to lower his minion's attack to 1. That may just cost him the game. But as you see, he's not really attacking our minion on the board, which confuses me because we're basically gonna bring out all of our cards next round, and then we're still gonna have enough to draw more cards. So here we go, going heavy offense, bring out all of our cards. And the great thing about this deck is the low mana curve, so we're able to bring out a ton of cards, especially in these later rounds where we have a lot of mana. So here, the only threat on the board right now is one of the higher hitting cards, but I mean, he's gonna be forced to clear the board. If he thinks he can just continuously attack my hero, he's not gonna be able to kill me, because I'm gonna be able to kill him before he kills me, especially with Fireball in our hand. So here he's boosting one of his minions to try and get enough to get a high enough damage count to try and kill me first, but it's just not gonna be possible. He continuously hits the hero, and it's just not the wisest idea. You should have cleared. He should have cleared my minion there that lets me draw more cards. So an unfortunate misplays by him.
Well played.
And that's actually gonna give us the win next round, because we'll have enough damage to do it.
Well played.
Let me get back. Well played.
So here comes the Fireball, and then an easy hit with the Sorcerer. And there we go. So there you see the power of the deck with Mana Worm specifically, and with boosting it with a bunch of spells early game that can really bring the enemy down fairly quickly, and they're forced to clear the board. And well, that gives you the win. So the next game we're going to be playing is against a rogue, and you'll see that this rogue we can actually kill fairly easily. Rogues are really easy against tempo decks because they don't have lots of AoE removal. So because they lack AoE removal, we're able to stack the board heavily, and with our low mana curve, we can actually just bring out a ton of cards and just let them all attack, because rogues are very good at single target removal. So maybe against like a warlock, or you know, people like that, or maybe even a warrior even, rogues can be fairly good, but against a mage it can be fairly difficult. So here we go, the starting hand here, very good starting hand. This is a really good starting hand. We get a Mana Worm, we get a Mirror Image, and we get an Abusive Sergeant, so may as well keep all the cards here, because this is really going to benefit us. This is a really good start right here. A heavy offensive start too. The only thing I could have made this better is maybe getting a Knife Juggler, or maybe getting a Sorcerer, but still very good. She's gonna have a hard time clearing the Mana Worm here, because you know, nobody has a 3 damage attack on the first round. It's pretty hard. So right now, already a great start for us, and she's not gonna be able to do it. She's not gonna be able to do much really. So it's gonna give us the opportunity to bring out next round a ton of damage, bringing out Mirror Image and bringing out Abusive Sergeant to boost our Mana Worm up to, I think, like 4 damage or 5 damage. Well, we'll get 2 from Mirror Image, and then we'll get another 2. Well, we'll get one because it only counts as 1 spell. So yeah, we'll be able to do 4 damage next round, and have massive board control here with double taunts and with the Abusive Sergeant. So here it's really looking pretty poor for her, because there's not much AoE removal. I mean, they have like 1 or 2 AoE removals, but they're not really great. They have one that does 1 damage to everyone on the board, which isn't going to get rid of my taunts, and it's only going to get rid of the Abusive Sergeant. And then I think they have one that does damage to based on your weapon, but I know that's a bit of a higher mana cost card. So here she has to get rid of the taunts, and that gives us the opportunity to just continuously stack the board. Here, Knife Juggler is really good. It would have been great if we got it out earlier, but we're gonna go ahead and play that first. Always play Knife Juggler first, and then all your other cards, so you can get the procs off of the passive there, so that we can do more damage. So pretty stacked board here. Having double Mana Worm isn't a bad idea here, because even if she single target removes one of them, then we'll still have another one, and we're gonna be getting spells pretty soon. We haven't used many spells already, so we're going to be getting spells really soon, and it's going to boost both of our Mana Worms up, and we can just go double offensive force really hard in. And of course, the card we have remaining in our hand here, once again, really great for drawing cards, and is very essential to this deck. So here, I guess, I don't know why I guess that was the only card she could possibly play, because it doesn't really make sense to boost your weapon here if you gotta clear so many anyway. and all of our minions are low health cost anyway. So here we go. We get another stealth. The new stealth monsters in this deck are really good because they grant guaranteed damage. It's really great with a tempo deck because you're able to stack them on the board and they're safe until you want to use them. Unless they have an AoE clear, then you're pretty much screwed. But considering in the early rounds you can stack the stealth and they're all just 1 mana anyway, so you can stack them on the board and guarantee damage to bring your opponent down to even more health. So a lot of powerful things on the board right now, and we have a sorcerer in our hand too, which if we get more cards, it's going to be even more beneficial to us because it's going to lower the mana cost of all the spells, and we're able to boost our mana worms up even more. So not much she can do here really, and you know, she just has to clear the board really, which just sucks for her. So Wolf Rider, always good for clearing, but in this situation right here, can be used heavily for offensive as well. We're trying to get as many procs as we can off of our Knife Juggler before she takes it off. So it's important to take advantage of that and just bring out as many minions as possible, as quickly as possible, so that we don't waste the Knife Juggler's passive there to do extra damage. So at this rate, even if she does at some point have an AoE clear, we still have a Wolf Rider in our hand, we still have a hero power in our hand, and rogues don't really have heals available to them. So her last resort here is to bring out a taunt, which is the only option. She should have brought that out earlier, but not enough mana, so it's understandable. Just a poor hand for her, or I guess, or just a really good hand for us. So here I'm just screwing around at this point because I'm trying to get, I guess I'm trying to get as many spells out as possible, or I'm just screwing around here. So I think here we kill her automatically already anyway. So that's the game there. But so an easy match here, but what happens if the rogue does clear the mana worm? Let's just say the rogue does clear the mana worm. How can you win then? Because if the rogue clears the mana worm at the get-go, well then you're pretty much screwed. Well, luckily I have a match on that as well. So here we're facing yet another rogue, and this time our starting hand looks like nothing really too amazing here. I mean, it sucks that we don't have a mana worm or a Knife Juggler. Sorcerer is okay, but without any spells really, it kind of makes it difficult. And the stealth minions are okay too, but I kind of just wanted to find a mana worm or find a Knife Juggler or find a mad scientist, and that really wasn't in our hand. Here we get a mana worm, so luckily we were able to start with it. But as you see, this rogue is actually a bit more experienced and has some better cards, and you'll see that this is a match that she's actually stacked with a ton of powerful cards. And a great clear here. This is one of the rarer clears that, I mean, it's a possible clear that a rogue should have, but if they don't have the card in their hand, then, well, they're kind of screwed. So a lucky hand for her that she can clear on the first go. But luckily, we still have some big power here. Now, the reason why I'm going Wolf Rider, the reason why I'm going so offensive is because the rogues are very good at clearing single targets. The fact that they can draw a weapon every single turn, they're very good at clearing single targets. So you need to take advantage of that and think to yourself, okay, they're going to constantly clear my stuff with their weapons. So let me bring out as much damage as possible. And putting out a Wolf Rider, even though she can clear it, it still does 3 damage to her. So in the last 2 rounds, we've done 6 damage to her. And she's cleared it, yes, but we've done a ton of damage. So that's kind of the goal here. Here, Mirror Entity comes into great play because we have nothing in our hand to bring out, really. Abusive Sergeant, I really only want to use. And here comes the first Legendary today. Unfortunately for her, we have Mirror Entity and Braves Us Legendary as well. And a fairly good Legendary, especially with Abusive Sergeant. So here's the power of this new updated deck. We have the Mirror Entity, which can really help us out in situations where we need it to help us out. Such in situations like these where you don't have anything in our hand to bring out, and we can use it to basically steal a card from the enemy. So at this point, I'm thinking, what can I bring out to basically keep board control? So I decided to pick Water Elemental. It has a lot of health, and if she wants to clear it, she's gonna have to get in a few attacks. So here she brings out another fairly good card, but she's focusing on killing me. That's gonna be I mean, I guess it's the only thing she can do, because if she attacks me with her hero, then she's gonna be frozen, and if she attacks me with her other minions, then she's gonna get the other minions killed. So luckily we have the Abusive Sergeant here to boost our Water Elemental, and Water Elemental is a great card against rogues. Absolutely great card against rogues. Really good against warriors too, because you can constantly freeze them so they can't use their weapons. We also used our Ice Lance to freeze one of the more threatening minions to keep our Water Elemental alive. This is also a good strategy to use. I mean, you always want to use Ice Lance with Frostbolt to get that extra damage proc. But if you need to, you know, play a little defensive, you can. Now that card that we got from that legendary actually helps us bring the Abusive Sergeant back in, and then bring it out next round again for another 5 damage. Here she brings out another legendary. But these legendaries aren't going to help her much, because we can just constantly freeze these cards that are really powerful. So she can't really use them. So here once again we're using Ice Lance defensively because we need to. We want to keep our Water Elemental alive. It has a lot of health and it's doing a substantial amount of damage. So we're going to end up freezing, I think the 5-5 or the 5-4 actually. Yeah, the 5-5 we end up freezing. And if he wants to clear that Water Elemental, he's going to have to either use one of his cards to kill it. Now, Polymorph Boar here is really good because I see that she's getting low on health. I want to try to kill her as fast as possible before she ends up killing me or clearing the board. So I use Polymorph Boar on the Abusive Sergeant to get out that extra damage. He's already served his purpose by boosting the Water Elemental, so now we can use Polymorph Boar to bring out even more damage fairly quickly. That's what's really good about Polymorph Boar right now. You can use it when you want. Here's the AoE clear, but just not enough. Just not enough for her to clear. And here she sacrifices one of her legendaries for our Polymorph Boar. Unfortunately, it's not really going to make a difference. All these good cards she has are all, you know, high mana cards, and we're able to get enough damage off as quickly as possible to still even kill her. So there you have it. Even with legendaries, she can't really get the job done because our strong early game with the Abusive Sergeant really helped. And even, yeah, rogues are just kind of hard to play against mages because of the freeze that we have, and it just makes it a bit difficult. So hopefully you enjoyed the 3 matches. Hopefully you learned something. If you have not subscribed to the channel yet, you can go ahead and subscribe. We have plenty of other Hearthstone content on the channel if you want to check that out. And if you found this video helpful, you found any of my other videos helpful, such as the other Hearthstone guides I've done, or if you just happen to be a subscriber on the channel who has watched several of my videos, you can donate $1 to my Patreon. All you gotta do is click the top right card on the screen. Anything as low as that is always helpful and always much appreciated. I also have a vlogging channel, a music channel, a tutorials channel, and an advice channel if you want to check that out. Links are in the description as well as on the end card. And that's pretty much this video. Thank you for watching as always. And this is GSmaniamsmart, and I'll be back sooner than you think. Don't go anywhere.